Well, I'm all for Christmas, all the happy smiles and the wishes, and I want it all from the lights to the mistletoe.
So that's this. So we can close this and go to the left. So this little thing here is also a pocket. So this here, what you can see here, is the same thing like this. Can you see that? It's the same shape. Here it's hard to see because there's so much on top. But what I'm trying to say is this is, you know, the folio, but just folded and glued in the other direction, so that we have this pocket shape here on the back and here it is on the front. So that means we can take this out. Then we have this little card, and I'm just in love with this picture. This is just so amazing. Even without these mediums and without the grunge, this is just amazing. So this can go in here. And I did a lot of stamping and embossing in gold because I thought grunge and gold and glitter works really well together. And here I've also tried to include a non-Christmas item. So this butterfly is also paired here again, like on the other page that you've just seen, with these flowers. And then I've just put my favorite Christmas paper doll here to the foreground. Also some grungy elements with some pastes, and this here is also some tea bag material. So that is what I have shown you before, and which I've used for the spine. And I've tried to let this go through the journal, and I've used it here and there to create this, like, you know, you can touch it and you can pet it. Like this fabric as well. And I wanted to have this like go through the journal. So then we can open this like so that we can see this double spread here. Here for the left side, I've used one of the backdrops and a die cut as well, which comes also from this set that I've shown you before, or actually several die cuts. You can see there are several different words here that I've cut out. And this is made with several different layers. So we have the backdrop as the top layer. I have cut the words out, and then I've used some of my sewing yarn. As you can see here, all of these little things here behind the die cut. And below that, there's just a tea bag layer. And below that, there's the next paper, so that I have a little sandwich. And this is a little bit squishy. I wanted to have it like a cushion. So that's the reason why I didn't glue that completely. And I didn't want to have these threads getting stiff. So I've just, sandwiched it so that you can also feel this squishiness when you touch it. Here, I wanted to point something out with this, like a little bit dirty snow. I did this here on purpose, that the snow there on the ground where the children are standing is a little bit dirty. Also here, if you want to use gesso-based mediums for making snow, so this is the grit paste opaque. But you could, of course, also use other mediums like the texture paste, opaque, or whatever. If that medium is gesso-based and it is white, and you put that onto inked areas, then it will happen that the paste soaks the ink and your snow gets stained. I did this here on purpose, but if you want to do that, please make sure that you don't have ink underneath, because then your snow gets dirty or pink or whatever you have underneath. If this accidentally happens, you can solve the problem relatively easy just by putting some embossing ink onto the paste, which has gotten the wrong color, and then add white embossing powder and emboss that. Embossing powder is like plastic, and it will not soak the mediums that are underneath. Of course, the surface of your paste and the snow will change a little bit, because when you use, for example, grit paste, then you have this gritty look. Once you've embossed it, it gets glossy and a little bit different, but it's white again then, yeah? So that's only if you have this accident with dirty snow, yeah? I had a project where I didn't pay attention to that, and the whole snow on my whole project, and it was a really snowy, wintry project, turned pink overnight. I was freaking out. That's why I'm telling you that, and that's the solution. On my project, that wouldn't be possible because, you know, too much snow, too much tiny areas, impossible to emboss. But if you have something like that and you can emboss it, then just use white embossing powder and the problem is solved. Or be clever and think about where to put the paste or ink before you do it. That's probably the easier way. Yeah, so here we have another of these empty signatures. Here I've used the red sticker quotes. And then we have here this little page where I have written, have yourself a grungy little Christmas instead of a merry little Christmas. I thought that's cool. So then here you can see we can't flip further because here's the spine of the next signature. So we can flip this back. We can see the spine of the other signature here, and then it flips open like so. We have this little pocket here that opens with this little thing here, just like so. And then this flips down. So this is also originally part of the accordion folio. In the other signature, you've seen I have glued that down to create the pocket. But here I wanted to have it like this flippy thingy that flips down with this little collage here. And here we have this little tag. This again could be varied a little bit if you want to try something like this for your own journal. I have glued all of the elements down, as I said, to make it easier and more simple. But this could also be a tuck spot where you could take the girl out, or you could have something that is tucked behind the girl or behind the frame. So you could vary this collage idea, of course, like you want it or need it for your journal. So then this closes like so. And this little star can go behind here, because my monk tells me that this has to be in the center of this, so that this is a line. Here I have one of the fabric snippets and this little safety pin, just for a little bit more texture and interest. And then we have this little really glittery and grungy pocket here that holds these cards. And do you know what I really enjoy about the Idea-Ology pieces? I mean, that's only one tiny aspect, but look at these. This is made with the help of an original vintage photo. Yeah, I mean, it's a print, but this was originally a vintage photo. And I guess that this was a vintage book page. Both of these, at first glance, have nothing to do with each other. I mean, they are totally different styles. Yeah, this was a photo and this was a book page, probably. And with altering them with the same technique, they suddenly fit together. With all of this grunge and the glitter and the paste and the crackles, they make sense together, even if they came from a different context. And that is really fascinating for me. And that is with other Idea-Ology elements as well. I mean, put them into the same style with the same mediums or similar mediums, similar colors, throw something on them and suddenly everything fits together, even if it came from a totally different context. That's so cool. I really like that. So this background is also made with a stencil. And that is also something that is really fascinating for me, because this is Lumberjack Plaid Oxide ink, applied through a stencil, then stamped and embossed with golden embossing powder. And look at this red, this, just take a look at all of the red colors that are here. There are several different shades of red, but in my eyes, everything fits together. Do you know these situations when you see people running, across the street and they have, for example, a shirt in this color, trousers in this color, a hat in this color, earrings in this color, and you would say, holy crap, what is that? That is like biting each other. I often feel that when I see clothes that in my eyes are too extreme together, but here I don't have the feeling that the colors are biting each other. How do you see that? Is this biting this? I mean, it's a totally different red, but for me that works together somehow. Yeah. Experiment. That is junk journaling, I would say. But perhaps you want to tell me if you see it the same. Also with this, look, this is totally different, but somehow when you look at everything and the whole context, it's like it's matching. Yeah, don't know if that makes sense. Okay, so then we can flip this here. Here I've just added approximately a half backdrop to make this page a little bit more sturdy. That was a little accident as well. I had this pocket here, and this element is relatively heavy because this is metal, and also this was thick, or it is still thick, but this page itself, it was so flimsy that when I flipped it, it like warped a little bit. So I have put this here just to make the page a little bit sturdier so that you now can flip it like so. And here we have more empty pages for journaling when this comes back to me. Here's the rest of the backdrop. Just a little ruffle made out of this tea bag material, one of the ephemera pieces, and this quote. This 25 is a remnant rub. I never thought that I would fall in love with remnant rubs one day, but it happened. I mean, when I saw them, especially my friend Marlies at Marley Design, perhaps you know her. She's also a maker for Tim. She uses the remnant rubs so often, and I love her videos, I love her tutorials, I love her work, I love her. Marlies, I love you so much. And in the meantime, she is just such a good friend. But that is not the topic. She uses remnant rubs so often, and perhaps you know that when you like a person and you like the work of a person and you like the person itself, then you perhaps think, I need the things that she uses. But I was like, why shall I use remnant rubs when I have stamps? Try it out. You will experience the difference and you will learn to love remnant rubs. I mean, this is so black, so invisible, even if it's like, rubbed on there. You would think it's printed, but it isn't. And can you see this little, like, schmutz? I think Tim always says schmutz to something like that. That is actually a tiny bit of embossing powder that came to this transparent material of the remnant rub. And then I didn't remove that, but I embossed it. And now this has this tiny bit of grunge. Try that with a stamp. Impossible. Because you would never get the schmutz in such a tiny distance away from the number. I don't know how to say that in English. This is just great. Buy remnant rubs. They're just amazing. So this is another collage. I struggled a lot with using this Santa Claus. When I saw him separately, I was like, oh my goodness, it triggers so many childhood memories, but in a negative way, in a really negative way. This is something totally personal, what I'm talking about now, but what is junk journaling? Junk journaling is always something personal. Paper crafting is something personal. If you're trying to make art, it's something personal, isn't it? And when I saw this Santa Claus, I was like nearly freaking out, and I have put him to the corner of my desk where I couldn't see him. But of course, when you have laying around your materials, then you come across him nearly every day because you just see him. And then I thought, I want to take this challenge. I want to try to make something like a collage with him, even if I don't like him so much. And even if I have like some personal problems with this kind of image, or actually this image. And then I thought, okay, take this photo because you like this photo and you like the grunge on it and how it came out. And I already had this pocket. So I have put the photo in here so that I could see my grunge here. And I had this paper doll left over, which I really, really like. I really like this girl. And I also had this die cut. And I had the materials in my hand, and suddenly they fell down to my desk by accident. I don't know why. I was too fast and I had everything there in my hand, and it has fallen down, and it was like it landed nearly in this arrangement on my table. So the paper doll was there, the die cut was underneath, and then the Santa Claus. And I thought, whoo, what is that? And that was something like an Idea-Ology magical moment. I can't say that in other words because my emotions were like that. I felt it exactly like that. When it was laying there, I thought, this is just cute. Why do I have a problem with this Santa Claus? The problem was suddenly gone because I liked this somehow. And that was just, it was just magic. I don't know. I really like this. I mean, it's on the last page here because, that was coincidence. And I would probably not put this on a journal cover as a focal point, as the first thing that you could see on a journal. But I really appreciate the experience that I could make with this. It was fantastic. And I'm hoping that you can experience those things with your papers, with your ephemera, with the materials that you are working with as well, because this is just gorgeous. And I couldn't say, even if I don't want to talk about those personal things that are behind this Santa Claus image, and I don't want to talk about those memories. It's too private for me. But I can say this thing healed something that has to do with my childhood. And that is really, it has a really big worth to me. And I'm hoping that you can experience those things as well, especially because when we talk about junk journaling and we talk about paper crafting in general, some people just don't get this deeper intention, this deeper meaning behind that. I know that many of you experience reactions like, yeah, what is she doing? She is just gluing paper together. That shall be art. That can't be art. It's just paper. I think you know those reactions. Those people that can't get the meaning of a junk journal and the meaning of sitting down, crafting, experimenting and experiencing different things. So many people can't get that. And I know, since you are doing things with papers, no matter if it's Idea-Ology or whatever, you got it. And that is really cool. That is really important. And that's why I'm doing this whole stuff here. And I'm really happy that there are people out there like you who got that, who understand that, and who agree that this is not only paper crafting, this is not only art, but it's so much more for our soul and for ourselves. So with that, I would like to close the journal and end this video. I thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, as always, please leave a comment. I will try my best to answer your questions as soon as possible. And don't forget to check out my blog post. It's linked down below this video as well. And there are also other links that can be helpful to understand everything here or answer some questions that you perhaps now have. So I hope we will see the next time. Have fun with your own projects, no matter if it's Christmas or something else. Enjoy crafting and enjoy the time that you have with your materials that you love on your desk. And see you the next time. Bye bye.